Help me reach 1,500 subscribers. I never believed work could cost me everything that mattered. I used to think that was something that happened to other people, those cautionary tales you hear and quietly dismiss. Yet here I am, alone in my apartment, phone glowing in my hand, scrolling through emails and unread messages that feel heavier than any confirmation ever could. My marriage is finished. There's no dramatic announcement, no courtroom yet, just the quiet certainty settling into my bones. My name is Clara. I'm 36 years old. For as long as I can remember, I defined myself by how reliable I was, how much I could handle, how often I said yes when others hesitated. I took pride in being the employee who stayed late, who answered calls no matter the hour, who never complained and never pushed back. I believed loyalty was rewarded. I believed sacrifice was temporary. I believed balance could wait. James used to tease me about it. He'd smile and say my job was my real spouse, and I'd laugh, brushing it off as harmless humor. I told myself he understood me. I told myself he knew that everything I was doing was for us, for our future, our stability, our life together. I never questioned that assumption. I never slowed down long enough to check if it was still true. The damage didn't happen overnight. It crept in quietly. Dinners I promised I'd make but didn't. Weekends postponed until next month. Small lies about staying late that felt easier than explaining another emergency at work. I blamed stress. I blamed responsibilities. I blamed the normal ups and downs of marriage. What I didn't blame was myself. Then I started noticing changes I didn't want to name. The way James stopped waiting up for me. The way conversations became short and practical, stripped of warmth. The laughter we once shared faded into silence, replaced by a distance that felt unfamiliar and uncomfortable. He looked at me differently, like someone he used to know but no longer recognized. I should have stopped then. I should have asked questions. Instead, I answered emails at midnight. I took calls during family meals. I gave my boss the version of myself that should have belonged at home. I said yes to work in ways I never said yes to my marriage. The night everything fell apart began like so many others. Another late request. Another urgent report. Another silent agreement to put my life on hold. I stayed at the office long after everyone else had left, finished the work without complaint, and sent it off with a cheerful message and a smiling emoji, even adding a line asking if there was anything else I could take care of. I felt proud of myself for being dependable. I had no idea what it was costing me. When I finally walked through the door, the apartment felt wrong. Too quiet. No lights, no television, no familiar sounds of life continuing without me. I called James's name, expecting irritation or silence, but not what I found. He was sitting on the couch, perfectly still. His jacket lay abandoned nearby, his briefcase open on the floor as if he'd dropped it the moment he came home. His gaze wasn't on me, it was fixed somewhere distant, unreachable. I said his name again, softly this time, my chest tightening. When he finally looked at me, I knew something was different. There was no anger in his eyes. No frustration. Just disappointment, deep and settled. He told me we needed to talk. I laughed, nervous and unsteady, trying to pretend this was just another argument we'd smooth over. I started explaining myself before he even asked. Work had run late. My boss needed something urgently. It was nothing new. He stopped me calmly. This wasn't about work. The way he said it made my stomach drop. He stood up slowly and told me the marriage was over. For a moment, I genuinely thought I'd misheard him. I waited for the punchline, for the sign that this was a threat or an emotional outburst. But it never came. His voice was steady, final. He told me he had waited for years, years of watching me choose everyone and everything over him. Years of feeling like an afterthought. Years of hoping I would notice before it reached this point. And that night, he realized there was nothing left to wait for. I tried to remind him of everything we had built. Our family. Our home. Our history. But he reminded me of everything I had missed, anniversaries forgotten, birthdays skipped, evenings spent alone while I worked in another room, another world. He told me he could no longer live feeling second to my career. When he said he was filing for divorce, something inside me collapsed. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just quietly, like a structure that had been weakening for years. I wanted to argue. I wanted to explain. I wanted to promise change. But as memories flooded in, trips canceled, moments postponed, his patience stretched thinner each year, I realized how little ground I had to stand on. I hadn't meant to hurt him. I hadn't meant to neglect him. But intention didn't matter anymore. My choices had spoken for me day after day, year after year. When he said I realized too late, I knew he was right. I sank onto the couch after he left the room, staring at the floor as the weight of my own decisions pressed down on me. The silence felt unbearable, filled with everything I should have said and done but didn't. I finally understood that love doesn't disappear all at once. It erodes when it's consistently placed last. By the time I learned that lesson, there was nothing left to save.